Because y'all know how it feels, right? Like when you're around people that are grieving, it can be very difficult to be around people that are sad and depressed and grieving. You almost don't know what to do. You don't know what to say. But the places that were so liberating, so comforting, were the places that allowed me to feel like I can be all those things. And love and intimacy were never in jeopardy. Like I was broken, I was fragile, I was doubtful, I was paralyzed.
And these tears, they taste different.
I think this happens oftentimes in faith community.
Welcome back to the Get Busy Podcast. That's your boy B Jones.
And that's your boy Izzy.
So we're in this thing today, huh?
We here.
First podcast, couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Very real reason for the pause. And I don't know a better way than, just jumping right on in this thing, man.
Yeah, let's just jump right in it, man. I'm gonna try to keep the energy up.
Yeah.
For the people.
For the people.
So this was, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
The day we got that big snowstorm in Georgia, and we were all playing in the snow, making snowmen and snowball fights and all that good stuff, having fun.
Wow, that was the same day.
Yeah. So today we're dealing with, we're going to talk about grief, mourning. We're going to talk about my brother, man, Herman Alexander Jones. He passed away about 2 weeks ago, and that was, very traumatic. And I know, different people have dealt with grief and have been through what I've been through, and some haven't, and some have, dealt with like different forms of it.
Yeah.
So basically, I just wanted to just talk about really, what that experience was. I guess what happened.
Okay.
A lot of people, know, a lot of people that know us, that know my family, friends already know. But I don't know, I guess I kind of want to record this for the pod. For me, it feels therapeutic.
Yeah.
And it feels like, the right thing to do at this particular moment in time.
Man, and just a shout out to Herman. You know what I'm saying? He definitely, I believe he would want us to keep it pushing as well. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And big supporter. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, so I'm rocking the treble clef fitted cap, size 8, because me and my brother had big heads. You actually wear size 8 too.
I was about to say, that's been one of the fortunate things growing up with you, is because you're the only person that I could actually wear hats from. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause everybody else had tiny domes.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I just wanted to wear this because it's dope. I bought it from years back, and I always loved it. And it, it was something that I was really proud. You buy somebody a gift like, oh, this the one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna love it. And so I was happy when I got this for him.
Yeah, I was low key about to ask you when I saw you wearing it. I was like, damn, that's dope.
Yeah.
But now that you said it was her, I was like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make it doesn't make it any less dope. So
No, definitely doesn't.
so yeah, a couple of things come to mind with my brother. So just starting, just from the beginning of what happened, he was at my house for Christmas. Mm-hmm. So that's the last time we hung out was Christmas, and we had a good time. We do our matching family pajamas, and that was cool. And, he was complaining that his breathing was really labored.
Even then?
Yeah. Okay. And so, and it's one of those things he didn't, he would have gotten it checked out sooner, but he didn't have health insurance.
Uh-huh.
And so, he had bought his own health insurance, but it doesn't start till the beginning of the year. And so the last time I talked to him, he was telling me that he was at the hospital. He checked himself in because I think he was at work, and then sooner than he was supposed to be at work.
Mm-hmm.
And then they told him they need to hold him overnight. And he don't like most people. He just does not like being in hospitals. And he was not happy about the news to be held there overnight. And so, he called my mom, let her know. So she jetted over there. So I was texting with both of them. Mm-hmm. So the next day they found pneumonia in his left lung. Mm-hmm. And then they sent him home, with some prescriptions to go get. So I talked to him when he had left. And I just wanted to make sure he's good. Like, are you, saying like, you're going to take it easy? Because the doctor was like, 5 days, no work. And then, and my mom wanted him to go stay with her. But, he's independent. He doesn't want to do that. He was like, but he promised her, like, I'm just going to go home and relax. So, and it's, my mom told me the story that her mom, my grandmother, who I never met because she passed away before I was born, my grandmother, and a lot of people can relate to this, like when you don't have money, you can't afford, like being sick, you can't afford to like take off work. Sometimes you just gotta.
No, that's bro. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us can relate to that. And so my mom was telling me a story how, when my grandmother, I think it was cancer, and they had to bring her from her job to the hospital. And so my grandmother told my mom, promise me that you'll take care of yourself and make sure, you get checkups, and because she didn't want her to do the same thing, go through the same thing. And it's like, yeah, you're trying to provide for yourself and for your family, but it's like at the detriment to your health when because if it ends up killing you, you can't provide anything. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So, and my brother was really just trying to make it, you know what I'm saying? Trying to save up his money and, build his own legacy. But, he was in that grind mode, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, he's a naturally like hard worker, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't like sitting around doing nothing, so this is what it is. So anyway, my mom, she was calling him the next day to check in on him, didn't hear from him. She called me like that afternoon. So this is the same day that, we was outside with the snow, playing in the snow. She called me. She's like, hey, have you heard from your brother? I was like, nah, I didn't even like call him. And so I was like, let me give him a call. So I called him 2 times and I heard nothing. It's really unusual that he wouldn't return the phone. Yeah, something. So I was a little bit worried.
Yeah.
And it was still a lot of snow on the road, and he's like an hour away. But I was like, all right, I'm about to head over there. Yeah. So I jumped in the car. I called 911 just to do a wellness check.
Yeah.
Because I figured they'll get there, because I don't know what I'm facing getting out on these roads. And like, I figure they can get there before I can. So I called, so they transferred me to like a non-emergency line to set up the wellness check. So when I talk to the people, I'm talking to the people, and they were like, okay, call us back in 30 minutes to see if we contacted them. I was like, okay. So I'm just driving, so I'm halfway there, 30 minutes go by, I call back. They said they didn't get a chance to get anybody out there.
Okay.
I guess because of the snow, and they might have been getting more other
kind
calls.
Of emergency calls and stuff like that.
Right. And so I'm like, okay, I'm halfway there anyway. So I get to his house, I see his car, I'm like, okay, at least he's here. I walk down, he's in the house where he shares he's in the downstairs unit.
Yeah.
He has a housemate that, stays in the upstairs unit. So I'm walking down to the bottom and his door's unlocked. So I walk in, I'm, call his name, and I'm spared all the details, but basically I found him on the floor, not moving. Call 911. Chest compressions, nothing, no response. I'm frantic. It doesn't feel real. You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
yeah, man, that's a moment that nobody is prepared for.
Nobody's prepared for that.
You know what I'm saying?
You can imagine it. Like if you like as I tell this story, and again, I'm just leaving out like just little details, but you know, even if I was to tell you just like the details of like what I saw, everything I did, what I said, how I said it.
But that's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking just to hear it. It's
Yeah.
10 times worse to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, so the guy, and I really wanted to find out like who the 911 operator is, because man, that's a tough job, bro.
Yeah,
like,
bro, I don't know how.
I can't imagine the people who do that job, because I was screaming on the phone at this dude, and he was just walking me through. He was counting to keep me on rhythm for the compressions. For it seemed like forever, because my back was hurting. It's like, you know, waiting on the paramedics. So the paramedics got there, and I could tell when they walked in and they saw him. I could tell from their look, and they see this all the time. They knew he was gone. I kind of knew he was gone. And now it was just, you know, disbelief. Like, how did this happen? Why did this happen? Like, what's happening? And so then it dawns on me like, oh my God, I got to tell my mom. So the officer, and I saw his badge. I was trying to remember his name. It's Cobb County police officer. Real like Italian name. Like, that's all I remember. Like, oh, that's a very Italian name. This dude was really cool, very professional, very sympathetic.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't a cop. He was a human
Yes.
first,
Yep.
cop second. So he offered to call my mom for me.
Yeah, man. And in moments like that, I think a lot of times, you know, there's a stigma a lot of times with police officers, and there's a lot of, you know, feelings one way or the other that people have to deal with. But
Yeah.
man, but just first of all, man, you know, thank God for cops. You know what I mean? Like, it's not very often I'll say something like that, but that's a very real sentiment. You know what I'm saying? Because, and like you said, human first, and that's honestly, man, the majority. It's like the bad apple that spoils the bunch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because most of them get in for the right reasons, and so you ran across somebody that was in it for the right reason.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
definitely.
You told me that he, you know, actually was the one that called your mom.
Yeah, he called my mom for me.
Yeah,
'Cause I couldn't
made that
do
first
it.
contact.
And then, you know, she wanted to speak with me. I was like, oh, I don't want to talk to her. But, you know, she was frantic. So she was on her way, and I was worried about her driving through the snow and her, you know, in that mental condition. But she has a neighbor that drives Uber.
Yeah.
He brought her. And so I forgot his name too. But shout out to him. And his wife came with her.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so just to have that support. And, you know, so the cop, you know, he took, you know, my information and asked the questions and kind of let me know how things were going to go. We got to wait on the medical examiner to come to the scene. That might take a while, especially with the weather.
Yeah.
But me and the officer, you know, he talked about some, you know, him experiencing his dad passing and kind of how that was for him. And, you know, we just talked and it helped. And I was walking in and out and I was just talking to God. I was like, God, like, please help me. Like, I don't know what to do right now. Like, and I was like, oh, I got to call my dad. It's like, okay. So I called my dad and just to hear him, just to hear the disbelief
Yeah.
when I told him.
Yep.
But then, you know, he said something like really interesting. He said like he felt like God was preparing him for something that was going to happen that was bad. That's what he said on the phone to me. So, you know, and you know, somehow that made it a little bit easier for me telling him, because it was like my heart was breaking for my parents, because, like, you know, you lose a kid, you're not supposed to bury a child. You know what I mean? Like, and I say that kind of with an asterisk, because, like, I don't know, I'm not God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
but I mean, that's the idea, though, right?
yeah, so I'll
the
say,
general
like,
thing.
you never want to bury your child. You try to prepare.
And then even as a child, like, you know, I know for myself, like, I think that, you know, when my parents go, you know, I'm I'm gonna have my siblings to go through that with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but I don't think about the fact that I might have to be there for my mom or be there for my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, because and as a kid, especially as a boy, as a man with a mother, right? It's like you want to protect moms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, and pop too. You know what I'm saying? But like, so to have to, you know what I mean? You can't really protect from something like that. You know
Yeah, I felt that was the most like I couldn't. And I grew up like protecting my mom, even as a young kid. Like I had to grow up fast, and like, I was just in this moment where I couldn't do that. I just had to drop this news on her, and I couldn't do anything about it to make it better.
Yeah.
And so, my dad called Herman's son for me because I just couldn't make a third phone call. I called my wife, and I called her. The first time I called her, like, I kind of put my voice, I was a little bit more together. I called her. I think I called her first, actually, but I couldn't say it. So I was like, I said something, and I was like, hey, let me call you back. Because I couldn't form the words in my mind. And I called her back, and I told her. And so I was like, okay, I got to call mom, I got to call dad. Talked to the officer, did all that. Then he sent me upstairs to talk to the upstairs neighbor because my Cinda, and cause Herman and Cinda were close. Cinda's probably close to my mom's age, so talking to Cinda, that was like another like a surrogate son,
like a mom type figure.
Yeah, but Cinda was holding it together because she was being strong for me. And like another neighbor was there, and they were just talking about how much they love Herman. I never met these other neighbors. In fact, I never met Cinda before.
Okay.
Prior to that, and she was just saying just so many like great things about him. And the next door neighbor, because they saw the lights, they came over, and they that lady and her daughter was saying just how Herman would like fix the basketball goal for them and do all this stuff. And Miss Cinda said all this stuff in my house, like Herman helped put it together, and he was just a great dude. We loved him. And so then my mom got there, and she came in, and they were comforting us, and my mom asked me what happened, and I was telling her, and I couldn't keep it together, and I hate
that's
I hate crying in front of my mom because it, what I'm saying, like I don't. Again, it's like that protective thing. Like I don't want to break her heart by her seeing me in pain like that. So that was a very long night. Family members started calling. Yvette called. I think Valerie called that night. And it was just it was tough. So we went home after we were done. The medical examiner came and kind of explained. Luckily, they took his body away because I didn't want my mom to see him.
So they got him before your mom got there?
Well, they got her, but when we were in the apartment. So they came. So we didn't even see him because where we were sitting, there was like no windows that we could see out to see them come down. So they came, got him. So when he came, knocked on the door, he told us like, okay, we already got his body. And she was like, what? It's like, but I was really just relieved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, so we, did the paperwork, signed some stuff. I drove, we drove home. Herman's son called me on the drive home. That was painful. I had to tell him like, yeah, this really did happen. What you heard is real. And so got to mom, spent the night over there. Didn't really sleep. Just like the image of just seeing him just kept playing over my head.
Yeah.
Like my face was in pain. I think just from the crying. And mom didn't sleep much either. And, got up. I think Yvette came like the next day to stay with my mom because I had to go home because I had to tell my kids what happened. And so, we just fast forward a couple of days and more friends and family. Because I think I sent the text out to y'all on the way just to pray. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I had to update everybody like, yo, this is what happened. So it's just none of like those next like 7 days felt real. But so I will say this, for anybody that, you know, when somebody that you know is going through a tragedy, especially when it's like a death, a lot of times you don't really know like what to say to that person or how to help. So coming from somebody who went through really a bad tragedy, just showing, there's no magic words you need to say.
Nope.
But just like to reach out, you know, especially like a phone call was great for me. Text messages were great. Just people reaching out, showing love,
Yeah,
saying
almost
that they're
anything,
praying.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
anything. So don't worry about saying
what.
the right thing. People just need to know that, hey, I'm here for you.
Yep.
I'm praying for you.
Yep.
I love you. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like you just need that community. And so, you know, if you're going through grief, like please, like don't go through it alone. You know, we need to be in some type of community, whether that's like grief counseling or your small group,
Yeah.
family members. And my family, man, like my family really stepped up. So thank all of you. A lot of people, my mom's like line dancing friends, you know, my dad's family, you know what I'm saying? Like people just, my dad's church up in Cleveland, up in Columbus, you know what I'm saying? Mansfield, like everybody just surrounding all of us with love.
Yeah, that's huge.
It was huge, man. It was huge. And so, I will say when you're going through a tragedy, the one thing, so another thing that helped me in addition to people surrounding us with love and prayer, was getting in scripture. So I used ChatGPT. We talked about ChatGPT and AI and all that stuff on the podcast before. But ChatGPT came through. So I just, you know, basically I got the app on my phone. I was like, you know, give me some Bible verses for morning. And he shot me some good ones. So I'm gonna read them. And so reading and meditating on scripture is another thing that'll help you get through the mourning process. So Matthew 5:4, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Psalm 34:18, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Revelation 21:4, he will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore, for the former things have passed away. And that's talking about heaven.
So real quick, before you continue, I just thought that it was so impactful that like the week before this happened, you told me that you guys had transitioned from going over Revelation at church to talking about heaven at church.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the timing couldn't have been any better, you know what I'm saying, in that regard. Cause I thought about that actually when like shortly afterwards, and I was like, man, you know, so I just, you know, when you bring that Revelation scripture up, like I actually thought about that shortly after it happened. I was like, well, I was just glad because I know a lot of times, and excuse me for kind of cutting in for a second.
No,
but
you're
like,
good.
because I told my mom what happened like immediately, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then like there's anger that starts off, you know what I'm saying? And she's like, well, how could the hospital let him, you know, go home, you know, if something, you know what I mean? And this, that, and the third. And a lot of it has to do with what you were talking about, insurance and all sorts of stuff, you know? Yeah. And, but I just had to remind her, like, at the end of the day, you know, God's the one that makes the final decision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's difficult a lot of times, man. But the reassurance and the one thing that every single person that was at the funeral, every single person that's ever come in contact with Herman's life knows that without question, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like without question. What that said in Revelation right there? There's no question if you're gonna see Herman again. Like, it's no question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that, that's the part, man. But anyway, go.
Yeah, so even through the pain of like that same night, like I was talking to God, I was thanking him that my brother knew the Lord.
I mean,
And
with no question.
Thankful to my grandmother, who I never met, who was basically like, she was a hairdresser and an evangelist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They said, like, if you're around here, you're going to hear about Jesus. You know what I'm saying? My grandpa Reuben, people that have like been instrumental in bringing Jesus into like my family tree. You know what I'm saying? Like, because had they not done that, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if we'd be walking with the Lord today. So, very grateful for that, because that's the most important thing. There's other things that's important, like taking care of your health, making sure you're getting checkups, health insurance, life insurance.
Hey, and I know that we don't want to get hospital bills, but go to the emergency room if you got to. Just go. And don't wait for a month or, weeks of dealing with something that's been going on for weeks.
Yeah.
Just go, because the bill is so much better than the consequences.
Yeah, definitely, man. So, but yeah, that's just a little side note. And so, so I'm gonna read a couple more. So I'm gonna read actually, what was that? Yeah. So, I was, when Pastor Johnson that went over that verse, and this is before everything happened, like I remember thinking, like, I can't imagine living in a place where there's no sadness. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Where there's no mourning, no crying, no pain. That's like a weird, like my brain can't compute that, like what that looks like over a long, like, for like a couple days, couple weeks, but like over like years, that's a weird, my brain just like, I can't really compute that, but that's what my brother's experiencing right now. You know what I'm saying? New body, new mind, new location, like, and everything is great. And if he had the option, he would not come back to Earth.
Right.
As much as he probably knows that we miss him,
right,
he's staying where he is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm gonna read two more. John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give it to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." And then this other one, 2 Corinthians 1:3-4. "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our affliction, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God." And so, it just really tells me, like, a lot of times we'll go through things, some real tragedy, but, we're not supposed to live in that tragedy. Like, God will be with us. He's near to the brokenhearted.
Yep.
He walks with us. He doesn't just make it go away. Like, as we're walking through it, he's walking through it with us to build us up. So, and get us to a place of peace, because he's the Prince of Peace.
Yes.
And then, when somebody else is going through something, like, we know what that's like, and we're able to help them with the same peace that God gave us. Now we can transfer that peace that we have and help somebody else find that same peace. So that's really, those verses, and there was a couple other verses, but, that was really, really comforting to me. And so it was that, and then, so people, scriptures.
I just want to say one thing to one of those scriptures, that the scripture of not the peace I leave with you, not the peace that the world gives, but the peace that so I was having a conversation the other day about, well, is it important to believe that Jesus actually was resurrected from the dead?
Okay.
And that's the reason that it's important for Jesus to have been resurrected from the dead. Because, like, everything else was great, all those miracles were great, but if Jesus just died, or if he just rose to heaven, right, then that means that we still wouldn't have the victory over death.
Yeah.
But we do. And that's where the hope comes in. You know what I'm saying? And so like, yeah, we could live a good life as believers and all this other kind of stuff. But if it wasn't for Jesus dying on the cross, then our hope would have a finish line.
Yeah.
And right now it's boundless. And so I just had to say that real quick.
Okay. No, that's real. That's super real. And so, you know, we get to the funeral. And for one, shout out to everybody who donated to the GoFundMe. So my brother didn't have, you know, insurance. I mean, the community, you guys like really came through for us. So thank you so much for that. It was really, really helpful. And also just the kind words from people I don't know who were telling me stories about Herman, because he kind of just had his own life. I didn't know like a lot of his friends. I met some of them at we went to like a wrestling event, and that was cool. But for the most part, he just kind of had his life over here, you know, and just to hear from people just loved him so much and just reiterated the things I already knew about him.
Yep.
Really blessed me, really blessed my dad and my mom.
Yeah.
And it was just great, man. Just seeing like just video footage of him like performing, and realize I haven't seen him play his viola in probably like over 10 years. You know, it's been forever. But like seeing these, you know, video recordings and playing, singing, was really cool from his, you know, his community, from the churches he serves at, that sent them to us. And, you know, the funeral was, you know, beautiful, man. My cousin Rick kind of emceed it, and my Uncle Jimmy did the eulogy, and it was just beautiful, man. It was packed out. I mean, you were there. It was
amazing. I mean, and you mentioned that there were some people that were there for your mom that might not have been believers. You know what I mean? Yeah. But man, you couldn't have told that. I mean, that place was spirit filled. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
And I mean, bruh, and your uncle said something that I just want to touch on, because it really impacted me. And it's not really about necessarily, I mean, it was about Herman, but it's like I took it to heart. He said that I tried to give them like all the information that I had. I tried to let them know all the things and how to avoid the obstacles. And I was so busy trying to give information that I didn't take enough time to stop and learn. And with kids, I think about myself with my kids, and I feel like I know better than what they're dealing with.
For sure.
And like everything, you know what I'm saying? That I don't listen to their 2 cents about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I really want to do a better job about that, because, you know, he mentioned about how he could tell at a very early age when you told the stick story about the character of who Herman truly was, like how he had a look on his face, like he just didn't get it. Like, hey, why would you want to be mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just want to do a better job with that. Maybe I didn't need to share that on here, but that really hit me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's real.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a lot, man. The lady that used to be at Victory, it was like somebody poured gasoline in the church, bro. And I mean, just lit a match and just poof.
Yeah, my cousin Tiffany who sang,
she started it off, man.
Yeah.
And you could tell it was little. She said, look, I'm doing it because my Aunt Terry said I need to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then she jumped up there, man, and I could hear it in the back of the throat at first. And she pushed right through that thing, man. And I was like, and that's when I got to the tissues. I was like, damn it, here we go. You know what I'm saying? That's when it started. Yeah. I put some work in on that box of tissues though, bro.
Yeah, bro. They kept them tissues stocked up really nice. Yeah.
As soon as I thought I was done again, I was like, and I was trying not to blow my nose because I got, anyway.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But, it was good, bro. Like, just, man, the people I've seen that were there from like, 20, 25 years ago that we haven't seen in that long. It's like, man, yeah, my brother, he was a special dude, man. He was, what they described as a gentle giant. And, I always wanted to protect that because I knew that's who he was, and I knew he was never going to change that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm so glad that he was, and I was really just grateful that he didn't change that about himself. because it blessed so many people.
It really did.
And so it was good. It was good seeing a lot of people.
Somebody that we used to go to Fusion with told me a story at the funeral. He said that he was dealing with a lot of loss over the last couple of years. He said one of his cousins passed away. And when his cousin passed, he wasn't sure. Actually, he didn't think that he was really a believer. He said he wasn't. He thought that he most likely wasn't. You know, that he didn't really know God.
Yeah.
He said it really tore him up, and like, you know, he hasn't. It was tough sleeping for a while. It was tough, like, really dealing with it.
Yeah.
And said that he was so glad. That was one of the more recent funerals that he'd been to. Mm-hmm. Said that it was so good to be at a homegoing service where it was so abundantly clear.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
The relationship that Herman had, and so that's, you know, like, you know, I keep going back to that point because, like I told you, I hit Herman up that Monday just randomly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for me, that's what kind of gave me a little bit of peace because, like, it was like, man, well, I know that. I mean, I've known Herman as long as I've known you. You know what I'm saying? We used to go to the movies and see, you know, Marvel movies together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, there's never been any level of ill will, but or any kind of friction between us at all, ever. But the one thing that I know is that he heard from me recently and that there was love that was shared. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was just selfishly, that was a good feeling for me. You know what I'm
sure.
saying? And so.
Me too, man. Yeah, so I would say, I think the lessons that I took from it was, for one, make sure your soul is secure.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this death thing is real, bro.
It's
and
real.
And you don't know when it's coming. And you could be healthy in your body, and you could be in a car accident, or you could get a brain aneurysm, just whatever. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we live in these temporary bodies. You have plans and the things you're gonna do in retirement and all that kind of stuff. You have no idea when your last day on earth is gonna be. So if you're not okay, so this is an analogy I talked about, I think, with somebody yesterday. Human nature, like, we're very much into self-preservation, right? Mm-hmm. So whether you believe in God, the universe, Mother Nature, or nothing at all, like, if a hurricane came through right now, like, you're going to do something, like, you're going to take cover, you know, for tsunami or earthquake, whatever, you know what I'm saying, a fire, like them fires happening out in California, like,
Right.
got people with different beliefs and religions and life outlooks, like, but everybody's running.
Right.
Nobody wants to stand there and get burned. You don't know what caused the fire, if it was God, whether it's, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just trying to, like, bro, like, if you're walking around here and you don't know that your salvation is sure, and you're not even making an attempt to figure it out or to research or read the Bible or read whatever, you know what I'm saying, just to try to find out, and you're just like, oh, man, think I'll be all right. This is a permanent thing. Like, you know, like, we all know that people die.
Yeah.
No matter what you believe, you know that people die, and you never saw anybody come back, like, from death.
Right.
Right? So for the most part, most of the population, we know that death is permanent. So what are you know, like, why would you gamble with something that's the most permanent thing? Nothing that you ever go through on earth is, nothing's permanent here.
Yeah. No,
you know what I'm saying? Whether you, whatever tragedy, whatever, you get kicked out your house or you get into it with your wife, like, all that stuff is temporary. But the one thing that's completely permanent, you're just, like, flipping about it. Like, that's really stupid, man. Like, it doesn't make sense. Figure out where your soul is going to go when you die.
Yeah.
Just at least research it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't believe in God, like, research it. I think you'll find the truth if you really dig.
And yeah, it could not be said better. But then also, it's for us as believers to really plant seeds and water seeds and put the information out there, because there's some people that just don't have an understanding of the fact that there is a soul that's eternal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the part that's kind of like scary, because if you don't believe that, like what, you know, like I don't, you know, how, like.
You're going to die. Just figure it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just know what happens on the other side of death. Just know what happens. That's all I got to say about that. But
yeah, man. I agree 100%.
Yeah. And so the other thing, you know, live a life, because live a life is worth living. Like, you know, part of the reason why we started this podcast, Get Busy, is like a lot of, and we ourselves have been complacent in many seasons of our life. Mm-hmm. And we are moving forward, putting this thing together.
Yes.
You know, you making business moves. We talk about family stuff and how we want to do better. Like, you know, and just move forward, man. This thing that we have is a gift. This life we have is a gift. It's temporary. You're supposed to do something with it. Like, you have a chance to impact people. You have a chance to make the world better, because we all know that this world is, you know, it's really messed up. You know what I'm saying?
It is, man. And I think so many times people don't take responsibility for their lives. You just live it, you know? Like, you just kind of existing and you're just living day to day, but not actually taking responsibility for our lives. And I think, you know, that's one of the key takeaways is really we all have the choice. We all have a choice daily to take accountability and responsibility for our lives.
Yeah.
And to make the most of it, because nobody else can make the most of it for you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And then another thing, man, take care of your health. Look at the food you eat, exercise, like, you know, basic things, man. Like, really do whatever it is you got to do to make the changes. A lot of us, we know that we're unhealthy. Do it. If you're not doing it for yourself, do it for the people that love you. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't need to be leaving Earth sooner than you're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not God that just determines every single thing. Like, some of that is on us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, you know, you get a bad doctor's report, do something about it.
Yep.
If you know you're overweight, do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and also do something about it before you get the bad report. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. And then when you try to go back and get it, it's gone. And then you got to try to figure out how to get it back. So, and that's one of the things that I really struggled with, was thinking that, because I was able to do it, that I'm always going to be able to do it.
yeah.
And that's not the truth if you don't continue to do it.
Yeah. Especially as you get older, things get harder, things get stiff.
A lot harder.
Yes, sir.
Man, so, yeah.
Yeah, man. So,
one last thing real quick. Find out what's going on with yourself after the afterlife. Take care of yourself, your health-wise. If you know anybody that's dealing with grief, experiencing grief, or if you yourself are experiencing grief, reach out to somebody. Send out some love and go receive some. Seek it out if you need it. And, yeah.
yeah, man. So, that's all I got, man. You know, Herman, we miss you. You know, we love you. We'll see you soon, bro. Hopefully not too soon, but we'll see you soon.
Absolutely, man. Herman Alexander. I didn't know his middle name's Alexander. Herman Alexander Jones, man. Love you, bro. Peace.
Peace out. Get busy, y'all.
Don't give me cliche when I'm questioning God. Don't give me easy answers when the questions is hard. Like, if it's gonna be alright while I'm left in the dark. Is death a blessing or not? Will certain lessons ever get learned if loved ones never slept in the side? Grief ain't like Netflix at all. Can't choose your seasons or when to exit the plot. Pressure's a lot.
These tears